Welcome to this episode. We're so excited to jump into this and talk with some of you guys. You guys have sent in some pretty interesting messages today, as always, and we are looking forward to sitting here with you and helping you in any way that we can. We're going to go ahead and jump into it.
Jake from Tampa Bay, Florida says, I'm 24. I spent 4 years in the Marines and now I'm back in college trying to play football again. I'm physically stronger than these 18-year-olds, but I feel like they're more agile than I am. Am I crazy for trying to come back and play again?
Well, man, number one, thank you for your service. It's inspiring to see, especially you as still somebody who's pretty young, been in the military and served, and come back out. Man, as cringy as it sounds, I wouldn't consider yourself old. I would call yourself seasoned. And even at 24, I mean, man, I wouldn't consider you old.
24 is not old at all.
Yeah. In fact, I think that's probably about the average age of entering the NFL, maybe a little less. And one of the cool things, I actually think the Super Bowl that just occurred, the quarterback for that Super Bowl, I'm forgetting the teams, but I don't know why I'm forgetting the teams. One of the quarterbacks was 23 years old, which was actually really young. And so, man, I don't think you're too old at all. I don't think you're too old by any means. I think, at 24 versus 18, I wouldn't think that there's that much of a difference in how agile you are and stuff, depending on, I don't really know anything about Marines and boot camp and anything, but if there's like joint problems or something that follows that, I have no idea. But I absolutely would not think that you're too old by any means. I think that you may need to get back into the groove of things and practice and conditioning and a little bit more. I would imagine that the Marines are probably a little more strength heavy than they are agile. And this all depends on your position too. I have no idea what position you're playing. But depending on that, I think that it's going to just take a lot of practicing and training for whether your position looks like more strength or whether it looks like more speed and agility.
Well, not everybody on your team is 18 years old. It may seem like it because when they're 18, well, honestly, college age, they kind of act similar.
Yeah.
So not everybody's 18 years old. So there's going to be people closer to your age anyway. So I really wouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah, the only big difference I would see is like recovery may look a little different. When I was 18 versus 24, recovery didn't look a lot different, but definitely at 18, I was able to bounce back a little bit quicker than I was at 24. And that's a natural. I mean, you're talking incrementally. I mean, just super like fractionally is a better word for it. Like, it all just depends on how much you're training, how much your diet, all those things go into how fast you're recovering. And so I'm really just talking with your coaches and making sure you're recovering correctly. But no, I don't think you're too old. Now, if I'm understanding your question correctly, it sounds like you're probably in a college position, like walking on, like you're coming back after the military, if I understand correctly. And so one of the things you may be dealing with probably is like these 18-year-olds, some of them, depending on the size of your school, are probably there on scholarship and probably they're on a different situation than you are. And that's an important distinction. Like if you're playing because you want to go to the NFL, you may be feeling a little like behind the eight ball. And not necessarily that you should, but that's a possibility in comparison to these people who are coming straight out of high school into college with a scholarship and stuff like that. And so, but man, I wouldn't beat yourself up about that at all. There's not that much of an age gap. I know it's 6 years, but 18 versus 24, I think like the prime age range for a man is like, I think they say 18 to 25. That range is where you're like going to be in your prime. But dude, I mean, even that, I have seen some of the best players in the world who are playing way past that age. I mean, I think of like some of the best players that I've ever seen. Like you got OBJ, you've got Tom Brady, especially. You got Tom Brady. Man, there's so many off the top of my head that I could sit here and list. Like that are players that play into their 30s and their 40s. And it all just comes down to nutrition, how they're recovering. Are they still practicing? Are they staying agile? Yeah, I'm sure like Tom Brady wasn't recovering as quickly as maybe some of the newer quarterbacks that were playing, but he was still out there and he was still destroying everybody. And so, man, it's not a matter of like, am I too old? I don't think you're too old at all. Some of the players play up into their 40s, which is insane. I mean, almost double your age. which is wild. I mean, even looking at LeBron James in basketball, I think he is double your age, if not close. I'm not super familiar with basketball, but it's definitely possible. Even some of the sports I partake in today, some really good players are like close to double my age, which is insane. So it's not a matter of age; it's a matter of as life progresses, I have an understanding that I'm not going to bounce back as quickly from hits or from super like hard workouts or hard games. But what's going to have to take priority in my life now is after I go hard, I'm going to have to make sure I'm recovering right, and I'm going to have to make sure I'm getting the right nutrition, make sure I'm eating right, make sure I'm getting vitamins if I'm deficient in anything. Those things are like key factors that really help you recover, really help you stay agile, really help you keep up ultimately. You have a huge advantage here over these kids that are just coming out of high school, though. Being in the military, it sharpens your mind and it disciplines you. Some of these kids who go on scholarship, some of them lose their hunger and they get caught up in the spotlight, so to say. And so you definitely have a huge advantage. Not that you're competing against your own team, but you could bring a new light and a new value to your team, and just being a common ground of just level-headedness. Some of the newer 18, 19-year-olds that come out of high school into college, they sometimes forget they're not on the field in high school anymore, and it's a different ballgame when you get to college. Same with college to the NFL, and so man, I think that level-headedness is going to be something that's super valuable for you to bring into your team. But no, to answer your question, bro, you are not too old. You are actually far from too old. It may feel like that, but man, if it's feeling like that, let's talk to some coaches. If you have accessibility to a nutrition. Or even, bro, like in today's age, ChatGPT it or Gemini, use AI to talk about what nutrition do I need. Like, these are my symptoms. If I'm feeling stiff, what am I being deficient on? That's a big one. Hydration. Are you hydrating enough? That's a huge one. Let's take a look at some of those things. Talk to our coaches. Let's make sure we're going hard in our workouts, but also recovering well and figuring out what that looks like. You're not too old, bro. And man, I want you to send me a message when you're 48 and playing in the NFL, and I better get some tickets when you're out there. But man, you're not too old, and you got this.
Even if you think that you don't have the agility of the 18-year-olds or the people who are younger than you, this gives you a chance to be more strategic when you're playing. I know when he plays pickleball, some of these old ladies have the strategy and can just murder you in pickleball.
This is absolutely fact.
You're fast, you have the agility, but they don't, but they have ball placement. So
True.
honestly, use that to your advantage, even if you don't have the agility, which I think you do. But if you didn't, use strategy.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I'm a little upset. I just got exposed that sometimes the grandmas beat me, but pickleball is a rough sport. I think that's a really good point. The fun part about sports is it's not always so black and white. Like, there may be people faster than you, but you may be able to be better than them because you have better ball placement, or you have better knowledge, or you understand how sports, you understand dynamics, stuff like that. There's so many more elements that go into football, especially that are not linked directly to agility. And so once again, you're not too old, but let's assume that you're like 35 and in a wheelchair. You may not be allowed on the field with your wheelchair, but hey, there's ways you can contribute and be better than some of these players who are like 18, fresh off the line, because there's different ways that you can contribute. You have a better mental knowledge. You have better things that you know in your mind that they haven't learned yet. You have lessons. You have things like that. So, man, you're not too old. I think you can still do this. I don't know what your trajectory is, like if you're wanting to go to the NFL, but man, don't give up hope. I mean, I'm just impressed that you're walking back it on after your time in the military. And once again, I appreciate your service. You're not too old, dude, and being in the military, you know how to do hard things. And so I know you got this, and I believe in you.